Race 1 at Misano is go, and Charles Wirtz on his toes. Not a good getaway though by Frasinetti in the Audi in contact already. Mayhem breaks out. The Audi comes across the road and demolishes Danny Junqueir's Mercedes that spins around. Junqueir just gets it out of harm's way. That could have been a whole lot worse, but Charles Wirtz is in the lead. Look, there's a damaged Mercedes. That's Fabian Schiller's red and white car. Rossi has dropped back in the queue. Feller has been delayed. Lucas Auer has been delayed a little bit as well as they get up towards turn 4. So Wirtz is the leader. Marvin Deans is second. Schiller with damage is third. Rossi is fourth. Fifth equal, Auer and Feller. But the Porsche goes ahead as they get to turn 5 and 6. Then way wide goes the Porsche. But are we going to be able to have the track clear? I'm afraid that yet again on the opening lap of the race, the 66 Audi is out. The slow starting Frasinetti. The car is stationary on the pit straight. There's debris there as well. It would be no surprise if we had a safety car. But right now, Wirtz leads, and it's all getting very ragged behind him.
I think actually Auer's going to get down the inside of Feller here. So the yellow Mercedes back down the Porsche after getting rubbed up by Mosca in the Ferrari. That was a bizarre start. Listening to the 46.
Stay focused, allez, stay focused. All good. Tire pressure looks okay.
Race control to all teams. The safety car will wait for the leader. Before turn 15, all cars have to follow the safety car through the pit lane. All cars must follow the safety car through the pit lane.
And that's the voice of Niels Vitic, the race director. And the reason that they're going to go through the pit lane is because we need at least one car, maybe two, to be moved from the pit straight. Andrea Frasinetti's slow-starting Audi, broken rear suspension is stationary. There you can see it. And just ahead of it is the number 3 Mercedes.
And again, the reminder, all cars must follow the safety car through the pit lane.
So, in order to keep the race running, the pit lane becomes part of the racetrack. Danny Junqueir has just walked past our window, and he will look across at the Audi. But it was quite a moment, that. And how's that for a view? Hoisted above the pit lane and savouring not only GT cars underneath, but you can have your dinner up there as well. Crikey.
I'm a messy eater. I'll be dropping up on the top of the Dennis Marshall.
Slippery surface flag needed, yeah.
What an odd start. There's a few things that took my eye straight away. Rossi was hard right. He wasn't going over the grid boxes, and then he got a poor start. So did Frasinetti, and they kind of went a pincer movement over the front of Feller. And I believe those two cars turned themselves around on the front of Feller. Junqueir fully innocent, and Charles Wirtz just got the best start of everyone because he read the light. So watch Rossi squeezing over. So is Frasinetti. They turn themselves around, which then fully wipes out Frasinetti, who then wipes out Junqueir in their Verstappen.com Mercedes. I don't see where Schiller gets the damage just yet. It must be from Frasinetti whipping back across. For me, there's responsibility of 50% on Rossi, 50% on Frasinetti. An all-Italian front row ends in disaster.
Yeah, they kind of pincered across the Porsche, didn't they? And then the Audi got turned around. Junqueir is the innocent party in that. But that was what scared me, is he came back across the road and he kept his foot to the boards to try and drag it off the track. Yeah, we go on board with Rossi now, and I think Junqueir purposely does almost a reverse J-turn here. He gets left hand down at some point to flick it back across the track. I believe that all conscious by Junqueir, and he stopped potential plane crash. This is Vincent Voss watching it, seeing it unfold. Rossi is so lucky to not get wiped out a second time. The engineer telling him just to stay calm. Is there damage on that car? Positive is Charles Wirtz is in the lead. Everything is okay. They've realised at this point, I think Rossi is okay. But watch these drivers, 44 cars, trying to miss the chaos that's going ahead into turn 1. We had that start line accident, didn't we? Turn 1 at Monza. For endurance, we had an accident on the first racing lap at Spa, and again, it's the front of the grid. Everyone trying to be quick off their toes. You've heard drivers talking about how difficult it is to overtake around here, and we've also said that the pinch points are turns
race control
1, 2,
to
and 3.
all teams. All the cars have been recovered from start-finish, so the safety car will now use the track to go through start-finish straight. All cars still have to follow the safety car, this time through the start-finish straight.
These two cars in front are going to be behind us after the pit stop, but Rossi needs to get on the front foot. He needs to get away from the Mercedes of Auer behind, and Auer looked fast, didn't he, on that opening lap? Did indeed. Right, green flag on the line. You had the race director explain to the teams. They can tell the drivers. It'll be on the in-car marshalling as well. And Charles Wirtz has made a good restart. The weave is to get the tyre temps up as much as try and fend off Marvin Deans as they go down towards turn 1. So it is Wirtz who leads them away. Deans is second. Fabian Schiller there in the red and white Mercedes third. And those two Mercedes arguing over the bronze lead. Fourth is Rossi. Fifth is Auer. Sixth is Feller. And they power their way now towards turn 4. And Auer's going to want to try and get past Rossi while the tyres are coming up. He's having to defend from Feller at the same time. Moscow looked racy at the start. The cars rubbing each other there. The front of the Porsche, our Spa winning car. Behind the man, filter Winwood car of Lucas Auer. We spoke to him on the grid. He seemed pretty punchy, didn't he? Car starting to run wide. Track limits we'll keep an eye on and keep you updated. You can do 6 before you'll get a 5-second penalty.
Wirtz has had a good restart lap here, especially given that Deans is trying to hang on to his class lead, because that gap has widened measurably between the top two, hasn't it? Charles Wirtz again driving away from the opposition up towards turn 9. That kick that takes it to 10, and Lucas Auer dives up the inside of Valentino Rossi. Bit of hit and shoulder between the two of them, but Lucas Auer tries to level with the BMW. Has he just slightly backed out of that to avoid a penalty, or was that genuinely that he didn't have the drive off the corner? I'm tempted to say that was self-censorship.
Yeah, I agree with the former. He didn't run up wide to Rossi on the exit like he was rolling out of it. He would have sent the move with good intention, and halfway through probably didn't want to be there anymore, but he was committed to it. And I think you're right. I think he's rolled out of that to then have another go, do it cleanly and not attract a penalty.
Absolutely, but at the same time, keep Ricardo Feller's Porsche behind the Brands Hatch Race 2 winning car. So Deans then second, heading bronze, and actually Auer is coming under attack, isn't he, from Feller? This is Ricardo's view. End of the lap. Up through the gears, come over the line. Wirtz lead, small gap back. Deans is second. Fabian Schiller is third. Valentino Rossi fourth. Lucas Auer fifth. Ricardo Feller is sixth. Then you've got Tommaso Mosca, Dylan Pereira, Jamie Day ninth. Christopher Haas's Audi in 10th place. And Auer, having tried that move and failed, now has to go defensive, because he's defending from Feller, and that in turn means he's dropping away slightly from Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, getting dark quickly as well. The cool kids tried to keep their lights off as long as they could. Auer and Feller on board have had to turn them on now, so the conditions changing quickly. Of course, the temperature will drop as well, so this will change what the cars feel like. We see this endurance racing all the time, and we're going to see a very condensed version of that in this race today.
And there, Ricardo Feller trying the outside line against Lucas Auer. And he can't do it there, but he now knows he's got the pace to attack. And what a difference a lap makes, because it was here a lap ago that Auer made his big dive on Rossi. This lap, he's having to defend from a very committed Feller who is taking Tommaso Mosca with him in the Ferrari. Much everybody, I think, has, some being brighter than others. Lights, that is, not drivers. One car going over the line, Augusto Farfus. He's gained a place on that lap up into 15th in the Paradigm competition BMW, again in bronze. As there, Deans fending off Schiller. They're being caught by Rossi, aren't they now? So he's been able to get away from Lucas Auer and concentrate on the attack. But the danger is he gets stuck and then Auer catches up again. Yeah, exactly. I think Rossi's best opportunity is just to sit behind Schiller for this next sequence of corners and then try to open up the next right-hander, concentrate on a good exit and get the speed down the back straight. We've just rolled in a bit too deep there at turn 8, and that's why the gap has grown. But here, what I would suggest is going slightly wider, later apex. That gives you a better exit speed, and then you carry it down the longest straight here at Misano. It just seems to be struggling to get the front end of the car in. It's not turning underneath him as much as he would want. Maybe he'll be feeding that back to the WRT team, and they can do a pressure adjustment for the second set when Max Hesse takes over the 46. And there is 46 BMW then. So Valentino Rossi may have picked up slight damage. Max Hesse is watching on, and Rossi is watching on to see what's going on between these two Mercedes. He wants to get past, but equally he doesn't want to put himself in jeopardy if it all kicks off between them. He may have to wait for the pit stops and try and gain there, because trying to overtake both of those is going to be far from easy, let's phrase it that way. Into Wirtz, so the gap down ever so slightly as the battle is on there. Augusto Farfus comes under attack, heading down towards turn 1. He's got Mathies Liesman with him. He's also got Dean McDonald behind him. That was Farfus getting ahead of Liesman, but Mathies straight away trying to fight back. The BMWs, one in bronze, one in silver. And then behind them, you've got the Pro Cup McLaren of Dean McDonald. And the McLarens have looked really breathless around here. They've just not had the pace. No, and Garage 59, along with WRT, are the only teams on this grid to have won here before. So interesting, Garage 59 unable to lock any performance out of their McLaren this weekend. 16th at the moment for McDonald, the top McLaren there. And it doesn't look like he's got much to attack the guys in front. So, although it's been categorised, we understand, as a jump start in terms of the message line, that does incorporate out of position start, false start. So the word jump has been used, but it was for being out of position in Rossi's case, not for going before the lights, but for not being in the grid hatchings. And maybe that's the same for Key and Jewett, even though, as I say, the word jump is used, but that's a sort of umbrella term for a false start here.
And on board with Dean McDonald, their car looked pretty good. The only thing slightly worrying is 3 of his tyre pressures weren't working, and then he just did a track limit on the exit of 16 without doming him in. Maybe the McLaren's going to get slightly quicker. His delta time on the dash was really dropping down the back straight. He was 2/10 up, so the cold air seems to be helping the McLaren straight line performance. Twin turbo V8 4-litre loves the cold air.
Somebody else is going well, end of stint, is Marvin Deans, because he's chipping away at the lead gap to Witts. It was nearly 3 seconds. He got it down to 2.3, and he's pulled away from Fabian Schiller by 1.4 seconds. Now he's not having to defend. Deans is on a mission. He's done the outright fastest lap of the race as well. Marvin Deans is another rather underrated driver. Because he's in bronze, you think, oh, he can't be that good, but he is. He's a very, very good single-seater racer. He drove Porsches in WEC, for example. He's a very, very good driver, is Marvin Deans, and he's underlining the point right now. There in 13th place is the Brands Hatch Race 1 winning Ferrari, Thomas Neubauer, who will give way to Arthur Leclerc for stint 2.
Under 2 seconds is a huge move there, and Deans will see that coming, and he will go long because he's in the bronze class. So his teammate is a bronze graded driver, an AM driver, so they will go as long as they can. So they're going to try and do the overcut. But remember what I said about the undercut. This car is going to get a brand new set of tyres, and that will really help Kelvin van der Linde be able to pull away. Look at that beautiful vista. That's why you need to come and watch these races live to get to see the atmosphere and feel it right in your veins.
In fairness to Deans as well, he's not really racing Witts, is he? Because of that regulation time the bronzes have to serve. He's racing the bronze cars, and that in real terms only. At the moment there's pride at stake for him, but he knows he can't keep that car in second place race long. It won't be there. So he wants to try and stay as close to Witts as he can, but also get away from Schiller, and that part of the plan is working nicely. So Charles Witts, we were told, will box this lap. In he comes, and that's going to give Marvin Deans the race lead, assuming the Winwood car doesn't come in. It stays out. So there is Marvin Deans to pick up the race lead. This is Witts. Sorry, down the pit lane. This is Rossi down the pit lane behind Witts. Very close to the barrier there. He came in rapid.
Oh, I'm not sure that car was at 50 k's as it hit the white line. Seemed to be decreasing its speed after the white line. Lots of teams get penalties for this in practice because the drivers are pushing it. We'll keep an eye on that one. I'm a big Valentino Rossi fan, by the way. I keep seeming to find negatives with him, but he will get out of this car, and that's been a tough stint after a phenomenal qualifying that put him on pole position.
This is Max Hesse trying to get himself back up the order here.
Arthur Leclerc in front. Hesse knows he's going to have to dispatch him. Leclerc doesn't get the best exit. You can see the rear of the car have a slight wobble. This is going to give the opportunity to Hesse to send it round the outside. Leclerc obviously covers the inside. That's the wise move. And now it's what can Hesse do? It's a long way round. Bravery needed. Respect so far from both cars. They're still side by side. Hesse, I think, is going to back out of this, try and do the cut back into 14, get it stopped, and Leclerc covers it off. This is good, hard racing. But for Hesse, he is losing time. This Ferrari is definitely holding this BMW up.
So this is Hesse on a mission. Let's see what he can do as they come up towards the line. It's still Deans ahead of Schiller, and the pit stop from Bastien Boos actually fractionally faster than Kelvin van der Linde's. So it shows you how much time was being lost early on, doesn't it, while that Porsche was stuck in the traffic jam. This is Hesse then. He's coming out of turn 3, and Max on the back of Arthur Leclerc. So that Ferrari has jumped forward on the pit stops, and of course the BMW was always going to suffer in terms of position because of the 10 seconds, and it illustrates just how competitive this is, that a 10-second hold can cost you so much real estate.
Kelvin Linde doing the fastest lap of the race last time by, so the BMW working so well here at Misano.
Yeah, Bastien Boos trying to go with him, but it's going to be a big ask that right now. Here's the Leclerc versus Hesse fight going up towards turn 9. Marvin Deans, Fabian Schiller, Kian Jewis, Augusto Farfus, the top 4 all out of bronze because they are going further for their co-drivers. Hesse looks for the tight line coming out of turn 10. This is the race leader, so Kelvin van der Linde up front. Last year's IGTC champion then hustles his way up towards turn 15, but the way that he's been going with purple sectors and the fastest lap of the race, he is going to take some stopping.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? He's absolutely on it. Considering the gap he's got, he seems to be right on the limit. He's keeping it legal with the track limits, which is A-OK. That car's still with very few, so they're OK on that, but he's really pushing to make sure he's got a gap, and sure enough, Engel has now got on the back of Bastien Boos, and that gap has come down ever so slightly as we see the 52A, of course, Ferrari finish its stop and just get in front of the Mercedes, which was in the fast lane. Great stop from A, of course.
And Hesse goes for a gap on the inside. It's not quite BMW width, but he is all over the Audi now like a rash, and he's got the drive off the corner. Max Hesse are about to go for the position here against Reicher. Simon Riker, far less experienced to drive him, and Hesse teed that up nicely. He's got the inside line for turn 11, the kink going down the back straight, the curver, Cavoni, and he's gone through then, so through he goes. Max Hesse picking places back. He could ideally do, of course, with a safety car here to help bunch up, as now the bronze style graded drivers, if you like, those in the Bronze Cup, serve the pit stop. So Dennis Marshall in for Dustin Blattner, and where you've got a high graded driver in a Bronze Cup car, now they've run out of drive time, they're in the pits.
I would love to drive a WRT BMW around here. They have got the thing hooked up, haven't they? Great move from Hesse, but they just get so much drive out the corners, and that's the race car you want. The low-end torque into high speed just makes these overtakes so much easier and so much safer. He's got no headlights. Has it lost all power?
It has. So Renat Salikov is at the wheel of the car, taking over from Marvin Dienst. That was leading bronze, but it's got a problem. It's got enough momentum to carry it down the back straight, but Salikov getting out of harm's way. And he's trying to power it up, I think. He's got the side lights on. Now the Lumi rank is back on. I think he's had to do a power cycle, hasn't he?
Be careful, all teams. We have a slow car going through the runoff on driver's right through turn 8.
He's got it going. So Renat Salikov.
And the car is not slow anymore.
It's certainly not slow anymore. He's managed to fire it up. So weird. Whatever caused that.
Yeah, it was sparking like the Mercs do through turn 6, but it struck the exit curb really hard, and it almost sent the energy through the car and just turned it off instantly as he hit the exit curb. And those are the normal sparks from the Mercedes that we see, the titanium skid blocks, but I don't know if he's damaged his suspension or something, but that car definitely just turned itself off instantly. That would have been a scary moment. I'm not sure that car is fully back up to the speed, because it still looks a bit hard work.
And the Mercedes was a loss of power, reboot, and no further issue. So, bit of a scare for Renat Salikov, but at least he's still going.
Bit of a scare for Marvin Kirchhoff, a huge snap of oversteers, 45 degrees pointing to the pit wall, and struggling in the dirty air behind the ever-fastening Louis Pret every year, getting quicker and quicker. Let's listen in to Kelvin van der Linde in the 32.
Good job on the pace and on the track limit. Repeat 15 more laps after this one.
So Charles Wirtz watching on, Kelvin van der Linde in the car, talking to the team and getting the information that he needs. He's 8.9 seconds up the road from Bastien Bus, who, remember, was a long way back in the first stint because he was stuck in that traffic jam of cars. So that they're on target for second place and some points for second place is good news indeed for Lion Speed GP. And in third, it's Maro Engel, who is now only half a second back, so we could get a change for second before the end. Now, here, the next battle pack to keep an eye on, heading into turn 10, McLaren ahead of Lamborghini, ahead of Aston Martin.
Kirchhoff has got an issue here. The car is wildly loose for quite a few corners now. Look how much time he's dropped to the back of his teammate, and something is not right for Kirchhoff aboard that 59 Garage 59 McLaren.
This is 13th, 14th and 15th, and while that's been going on, Ignacio Montenegro has managed to get through the traffic and clear Villa Gomez and go up to 11th and then take the lead of Silver Cup. So Ignacio Montenegro for WRT is on for a class win, potentially in silver now. So good effort that by Montenegro, who took honours in the second race at Brands Hatch as well. This is the battle for second overall. Porsche versus Mercedes. Bastien Bus ahead of Maro Engel.
Felt like we said this for 24 hours at Spa last time out, and yeah, these two cars were at it. It was the Porsche that finished on top out of the two, then winning the race. Maro Engel just seemed to have the slight performance over a lap, but it's marginal, isn't it? It's a 10th, it's a 2/10 gain some laps, but Boost seems to be able to be metronomic. I actually watched a lot of the onboard from this Lion Speed car and Boost in free practice, and they were really prioritising long runs. They obviously wanted to get their race performance in, and Boost seemed to be able to keep the car in a good place, not overwork the tyres or the brakes, and it seems like that's paying dividends now. So their free practice motive to get a fast race car is paying dividends now as they sit in second place.
Quick hat tip for the Audis, because the Attempto car of Alex Arca is 5th overall, and Simon Riker, Christopher Haase's car, that is currently in 8th place, going well. The Audis are always good around here, and they still are, venerable or no. So, second place fight you're looking at. It is Porsche versus Mercedes. It is Bastien Bus ahead of the Mercedes-AMG, there it is, of Maro Engel, as ever, a lot of support. 3 different cars with the best sector times around the 3 elements of this circuit. Van der Linde leading the way with 15.5 minutes to go, and Bastien Boost 9 seconds back. Maro Engel 0.6 of a second behind him. And this is Jordan Pepper on a mission as ever. He's 9th, it's Simon Reicher's Audi ahead, and Simon Reicher comes up towards the timing line under huge pressure from Jordan Pepper, defecting from Lamborghini to WRT's BMW squad for this year. Started well with an LNS win at the Nordschleife, making the run now out of turn 3. And in turn 8th and 9th they are. You've got 10th Arthur Leclerc in the Ferrari trying to play catch up as well now. That's
a huge amount in professional GT3 racing, and he won't worry about a 10th or 2 lost here and there.
Now, in terms of bronze, you mentioned that Marvin Dean's Mercedes, despite Renault Salikov's problems of the car losing all power, he's only 0.2 of a second back from Gabriel Rindon. So Salikov could yet win the class, but you've also got Dustin Blattner charging along behind. So bronze, I think, is going to get really interesting by the end of this. We need to keep an eye on it. As you see here, the second place overall battle. It's still Bastien Boost ahead. Maro Engel behind him in 3rd spot, coming out of turn 8. Then this little rise up towards 9. And the Mercedes-AMG hunting down the Porsche. But Engel is such a savvy driver. He'll make the call now as to whether or not it's worth pushing, worth risking everything for second place, or just bank the points. He knows how to win championships.
Yeah, look at the lead gap. Van der Linde had the whole back straight, and then this gap is definitely getting smaller. Engel will be working out every time he's going through a corner, which is my strongest, which is the Porsche's weakest, where is my overtaking spot. You have your plan A, your plan B, and then you tend to find a corner where you think this is maybe a high-risk situation, which we're watching now. Look at that Emil Frey Ferrari sweep round the outside. They're going to be 3 wide potentials. They go up the hill into 9 and 10. And
at the head of this is Gabriel Rindon, and this could have quite an impact on what happens in bronze, because in the pack behind one car but one back is Salikov. So Rindon has got the Anthony Bartone Mercedes behind him now with Aurelien Panis at the wheel of it. But Renat Salikov is in that mix as well. There are cars everywhere as they come towards us then. And this is where it's tough for Rindon to know who he can defend from. Basically, he's just got to be the cork in the bottle. Anything that gets near him, just defend like mad. This, meanwhile, is the race leader, Calvin van der Linde. This car has absolutely annihilated the opposition in this race.
It really hasn't. Potentially not going to catch any traffic before the end of the race as well. He's got about 14 seconds in front of him until he would start lapping some of the cars. So this could be an easy end of the race. He has lost a second, hasn't he, to Boost behind, but still 8.8. Engel is just at that second gap. That's the dirty air. It's so hard to follow any closer than that for a prolonged period of time, because you do start to work the front tyre too hard and then you drop the pace.
Has steadied that ship, hasn't he, and started to build the gap.
Attention all teams, full course yellow in 20 seconds.
So full course yellow is coming, says Niels Vitic, and that is to get this car out of the way. It's over at turn 13, and the full course yellow
10 seconds
is imminent.
So no overtaking from 10 seconds, and then you
5,
have to be at
4,
80 when
3,
birthday boy Niels
2,
Vitic gets
1.
to 0.
Full course yellow, full course yellow.
And that's the reason for it. Treble 5, Romain Andriolo in the gravel, and the marshals are quickly there, but it could be that this is going to devour much of the remaining 5 minutes, because I don't think you're going to push that out of there. No. And although we've seen cars drive out of the gravel today, that's showing no evidence of doing so.
No, probably Barry looks like he's got a rear left puncher as well. Can't quite see the tyres. At the front of the Porsche that was missing, the 9 car, well, it was missing a headlight, wasn't it? It looks quite red to me, and maybe Malik can drive over it and reattach it with some skill. Good performance from Misano circuit staff there. This has got a chance. If Neil Butch is happy to call this a short full course yellow and go straight back to green, then we've got a chance here, I think, of maybe a 1-lap fight to the end. And that would really be interesting in that bronze class that you can see at the bottom of the timing tower. Rindon still from Salikov, Blacknut, Lung, and a very aggressive Dawson we've seen swinging behind that 991 BMW.
Nervous looking Charles Weerts there, thinking, well, I want to win this, don't care whether it's under a checkered flag or a green or a full course yellow or what, I want to win. And now it looks as though the gap's going to come down if we end up with a safety car, but hopefully, because it's so close to a vehicle access point, that can just be hoiked out of the way. But we're down to 3 minutes. So slowly, slowly, slowly the BMW comes towards us. And if we do go green, it will be purely to get us to the checkered flag. This will be Weirt's 19th Sprint Cup win. That will equal Dries Van Thor's record, and he's taken 9 of those at Misano's. It'll be a 14th win at Misano for WRT, 10 of the last 12. And WRT about to have 55 Sprint Cup wins, BMW 12. So more impressive numbers wrapped up by WRT and by W is going to win. It's more success for WRT. The checkered flag is there. Charles Weert and Kelvin van der Linde win race 1 at Misano, and under full course yellow, Charles could crawl across the line and Kelvin could crawl over the line, savor the moment in the BMW, because there's no argument about that for the win. It does take the sting out of Maro Engel's efforts to get on terms to get past Bastien Bus. So it's going to be Bastien Bus and Ricardo Feller for second place, and it's going to be third for Maro Engel and Lucas Auer. So there is a delighted Charles Weert, skips across the pit lane, goes to see the team and the family. Ahead of Blattner, won't it? That was a good battle late race, but a shame that was never able to resume, really, because it had been so competitive all the way through. But the race comes to an end, and there is the bronze train coming over the timing line, headed by Gabriel Rindon, who I think will be quite relieved about that, because it took some of the pressure off. Let's have a listen then to the radio from 32 BMW.
P1 Vega Company, Vega Company. Yes, guys, thank you so much. That was awesome job. Awesome job.
Charles Weert and Kelvin van der Linde then are the race winners, from Ricardo Feller and Bastien Bus. Third, Lucas Auer and Maro Engel, ahead of Thierry Vermeulen and Ben Green, who sort of flew under the radar a bit to get fourth. Fifth, Dylan Pereira and Alex Arca. Sixth, Valentino Rossi and Max Hesse. Then Amaury Cordial and Jordan Pepper in seventh. Christopher Hausser and Simon Riker. Eighth from Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc. And then 10th for Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro to win again in silver. Fabian Schiller and Gabriel Rindon confirmed as the bronze winners as well, after a very good effort. And yet again, a few teams with a lot of midnight oil to burn. And as it's 9:45, they're not far off midnight already. But the winning drivers for the podium at the end of a busy hour of action here at Misano. Long-term overall championship in which you combine the endurance and sprint results. There, Kelvin van der Linde and Charles Weert, with their trophies, are very happy indeed as they celebrate atop the podium. And very shortly we will have, of course, the gold and the silver and the bronze podiums, but for the Pro Cup drivers, photographs to be taken.
Okay, in front of you.
And as they look forward, the SRO team have the photographs that it requires, and then the champagne is sprayed. So BMW, Porsche, Mercedes, AMG, the top three. After that, Ferrari, Audi, BMW, BMW. Then Audi, Ferrari and BMW. We didn't really touch on Lamborghini, but Patrick Niederhauser and Luca Engschler 11th, and the best McLaren 12th, which was the Louis Pret and Tom Fleming entry.